Good evening, everyone. A little late start here. We've, for the first time in a long time, had our first internet issue here at Southeastern High School. I'm Dwayne Hulett. Thanks for joining us here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Of course, we're happy to be here. Southeastern Suns open their home season tonight against the Pittsfield Sockies. We've had some internet issues, and I wonder, I had a problem with the scoring program earlier. As you can see, it's not up there. I wonder if that's because of the internet as well. There's a little communication issue there for the Sockies, who had opened a 3-point lead after it being tied at 5, but now Southeastern trying to claw their way back into this fresh soft contest. It's Riley Hart at the service line for the Suns. Pushed across there on the dig was number 4, Addison Inman. There's a back set, but they got it across. Good job getting that one across by Aubrey Houston, and that's a hitting error out of bounds, and it's back to a 1-point game, 8-7. Riley is still serving. She forgot that she was serving. She comes back to serve it up again. She served 2 straight, gets this one to drop in as well. We'll see if they can get a good hit for the Sockies. They do. It was long, but it is dug up by Inman. Outside it comes. The attack and long, a hitting error by Aubrey Houston, and that makes it 9-7 Sockies. Here in set number 1, a couple subs coming in. Leaving for the Sockies is Maddie Burton. I believe coming in was there's an illegal hit. Called the lift, not the double. If you watched our interview with Coach Kerr and Coach Humes from Macomb the other night, you'll know that they did take the double hit out for hit number 2, so there's no double hit on 1 or 2 now. There's a double hit on 3, however. Now outside, it's going to be punched across, but can't get there. It's Houston, and it'll be another point for the Sockies. They lead 10-8 now. And number 36, Peyton Martin, a freshman, came in for Pittsfield moments ago. Oh, there's a nice serve. Hart going down to get it. There's an overpass. It's popped up, falls back across, dug up on the far side by Caps, and then a hitting error. As it goes 4 hits, actually, never got across the net. Now it's going to come back to serve as Houston. Coming into the game for the Sockies on the far side, number 14, Allie Pritchett. She's a sophomore. Aubrey Houston is a sophomore as well, 5'4", and she ends up with a service error, makes it 11-9. So while we're doing a few things, I'm going to try to a couple things coming in. Well, let's see, what are we doing here? They were going to do the libero sub, but the official says you were too late, so they'll have to wait until after this serve. And it's a service error. Now the libero can come in, or out, and coming into the lineup, number 25, Megan Heffington, a sophomore. Back to serve, a let's serve. That's number 10, Sarah Shelton. And it's set up to Hart, and she'll drive one home. Kill for Hart. We're tied at 11 and a timeout charged to the Sockies of Pittsfield. A race to 25 here in set number 1. It's 11-11. We'll keep it here, and as I said, I'm going to try to work on the scoreboard for a second to see if I can get that to work. We were having some internet. It looks like they put some firewalls up, possibly over the summer, and couldn't get on YouTube at the start of the game. And my scoreboard wouldn't work either, so we're going to try that now that I'm on the phone rather than on the school's internet, and we'll see if it works a little better now. So the timeout is over as it gets ready to buzz. Both teams on the floor. Back to serve again is Sarah Shelton. Now the clock was still running, so the up official blew the whistle to stop it. Oh, it's 12-10, excuse me, and there's a service error. Jinxed Sarah Shelton, the 5'3" sophomore, wears number 10. Grade 10, number 10. Now we got some subs coming in again. Back to serve for the Sock is going to be number 9, Maddie Burton, freshman. Nice serve there on the dig was Houston. It's going to be a free ball sent across by number 2. That was Simmons, Morgan Simmons. Hart again on the attack, dug up in the back row. Up front, the push across going to be by Heffington. Now it's going to be an attack by Inman. And it's going to be a passing error and a fall. And it's 13-11. Suns with the lead. Checking in for the Suns, going to be number 3. That's Sophia Campbell. Back to serve is number 2, Morgan Simmons. Did a good job just to save that. Who was that over there? That was Megan Heffington. Kept that alive for the Sockies. It's going to go down the net. A hitting error for the Suns and Inman, I believe. And that means it'll be a side out. 13-12 the score. Back to serve now, number 23, Datelyn McAllister. She's a freshman as well for the Sockies. There's a dig by Shelton. And that's going to go outside the post. That's a good job at just trying to get to that by Sophia Campbell, but couldn't keep it in play. It's tied at 13. Nice set, middle, and she was in the net, was the setter. Number 9, Maddie Burton, gets called for in the net, I believe is who that was. And a kill for the Suns, and it's 15-13, a service point for number 4, Addison Inman. She serves it up again. That's a nice pass that time. It's going to be dumped across, dug up by Inman. Now it's going to be Hart pushing it to the corner. It's dug up over there. Nice dig by Helms and pushed back across by Simmons. Now Simmons going to set it. Outside Hart goes to Houston. Now Hart back down the line and in. Riley Hart gets another kill, and it's 16-13, largest lead of the set for the Suns now as they try to pull away here in set number 1. Of course, best 2 out of 3 in Illinois still. And there's a service error for Addison Inman, and it's back to the Sockies, down by 2, going back to serve, number 25, Megan Heffington. She'll have the libero come in for her after she serves, it would appear. A nice dig by Shelton. Outside, it's Houston. Dug up in the back row, diving dig. Be brought back across. Shelton's there again. Bump set. Houston into the net, a hitting error. And it's 16-15. That was the problem. We'll have the scoreboard in just a couple minutes. And another hitting error, so it's 17-15 Suns. Riley Hart coming back to serve again for Southeastern. Oh, nice attack there by the Saki setter. Now there's an attack, another one by Natalie Capps, and Shelton in the net they called. Back serving for the Sakis, looks to be number 10, Bailey Hill. Dumped across, Hill come up to set. Middle again on the attack. Nice dig, but a bigger hit by Capps. It's going to end up being a kill for Capps, and we're tied at 17. Outside it comes. It's going to go over the net and out of bounds. An overpass on a bump set goes out of bounds, and it's side out to the Suns. They retake a 1-point lead. Coming in to serve for the Suns, going to be number 8, Jaden Miller, 5'2" sophomore. Nice low, hard serve, but it's dug up. Outside it comes on the left by Heffington, excuse me, and she gets the kill. Wait, scratch that. Number 23, not 25, Datelyn McAllister, I believe. Well, I was wrong again. It was 35. I had their second number right, not the first one. There's an attack by Caps, and it's going to be a let kill, so to speak, as it bounced over the block after hitting the net and then fell right behind Shelton. Go back. And a rotation error for the Suns. They now find themselves down by 2, 20-18. And a timeout. After another point for the Sockies, 21-18 the score. As I continue to work on the scoreboard here. We will have that up in a few seconds. Thanks everybody for hanging with us here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by NBH. My first broadcast of the year. We had our first broadcast last night from A-Town High School as Wyatt Reed and Alyssa Evans brought you the A-Town game last night. We'll have a few less games possibly this year, but covering the same schools. We've had a few people leave. We're going to miss John Burton. John Burton, one of our really almost original members of the staff here at TSSR, has moved on to bigger things. He might do some football for us down in the St. Louis area, but we're going to miss him and missing a few other people, but hopefully pick up a few new ones from Western Illinois University, and we will try to bring you as much as we've done in the past. And it dropped on the line, barely. It's 22-18. Largest lead of the match for either team. Back to serve once again is Maya Helms, a freshman for the Sockies. There's a tip across by Shelton. That is out. Trying to paint it in the back deep corner was Peyton Martin, just about 6 inches too far, and it's going to be coming back to serve Aubrey Houston, 5'4" outside hitter for the Suns. 22-19 is the score. And it goes off the Suns out of bounds. It's 2 points away from a set 1 win for the Sockies. Into the net. So Suns need to roll off a 5 straight here to end it right now. Tipped across and down. A nice tip by number 2, Morgan Simmons. Shelton back to serve again, and it's a 2-point game, 23-21. And out of bounds. So it's a set point now for the Sockies, 24-22. And a timeout charged to the Suns. And out of bounds, set one goes to the Sockies, 25-22. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. You're watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District Hospital. I've had patients come to me that maybe have not had care in the community, care available. So with the addition of nurse practitioners lately, we've been able to add more care, and that's very rewarding to me. My hope is that when the patients leave at the end of an appointment, they leave and they definitely feel like they've been listened to, and they feel like their needs have been met, their cares have been met, and that they're going to get the proper treatment that they deserve from me as a provider.
Minimally invasive surgery offers a variety of benefits to the patient. We're now able to offer patients a variety of operations with small incisions rather than big open incisions. The surgeries that we can do now, minimally invasive, include bariatrics, hernia repair, colorectal surgeries, faster recovery, smaller incisions, faster time back to work.
And welcome back. Just as I said, we're going to try to get the scoreboard working for you. Maybe. Getting closer anyway. (25-22). JV win in set number one for the Sockies over Southeastern. Again, we got varsity coming up here in just a few minutes. There we go. It shrunk down for you a little bit here, folks. Again, I apologize. Didn't know the internet was a problem tonight, but we know it now, so we'll try to get that working a little bit better later on, as we have the Suns Classic coming next week. One of the best small school volleyball tournaments in the state of Illinois happening right here at Southeastern High School next week. We'll have the vast majority, hopefully all of that, minus the class or the games on Saturday morning at Bowen. Other than that, we'll have everything for you here as the Sockies start off, and there's Houston getting it across with a free ball now outside on the attack. Down a dig by Shelton. Going to be a chance to at least get it across for the Suns. They do. Nice dig in the back row on an overpass. There's another middle. Hart on the attack. Doesn't get it over. Well, yeah, they're going to call 4 hits late. It was tipped over by Inman after Hart hit it into the net on the third hit. So, see if we can get the scoreboard all up and going here, because that's 1 point for the Sockies. And a net violation called, I believe, on Heffington for Pittsfield. That means it's a 1-1 game here in set number 2. And into the net it goes. A service error. Side out back to the Sockies. Sockies up 1-0 here in the JV contest. Hart. Simmons back to Hart. That's going to come outside on the left side. Tipped across. Simmons goes down to get it. She sends an overpass and a double hit. As Heffington tried to tip it back over, couldn't get it there, and it fell right back onto her. So another side out. 2-2 the score. The Suns have it tied up again, and Inman back to serve. Nice dig by Inman. Bump set over to Houston. Into the net, a hitting air, side out to the Sockies. Both teams just going back and forth here. Don't forget our live chat's open. Hop in there. Tell us where you're watching from and who you're cheering for. We love to see that. Kids like to go back and see who was cheering them on throughout the game as well, so feel free to hop in there and do that. Just keep the chats or the comments nice if possible. And a set that probably last year would have been a double hit on the set ends up being a bad set, and Houston tried to come to it and get it over but bumped it into the net. That makes it 4-2, the first advantage on serve for either team, but then gives it right back as the service error turns it back over to the Suns. Riley Hart back to serve now. And a service ace on the serve receive error by the libero. Wearing number 4, and I'm not sure who that is. If you know who that is, hop in and tell us if you would on the Pittsfield side. Middle, Caps, dug by Inman. Tipped over by Shelton. Back set. And the attack, dug by Inman. That was Hill on the attack. Now it's going to be, there's a double hit. First one of those we've seen on number 3. Coach Kerr and Coach Humes mentioned, thought maybe we'd see more of those since they took the double hit away on 1 and 2. Over the net, going down to grab it, pushing it across, and they're going to call a double hit. It was the second touch. If she'd have set it, it wouldn't have been a double hit probably, but since she sent it across, it was. We're tied at 5 now after a couple side outs. Free ball sent across by Martin. There's a dig by Jaden Miller, and now another double hit call on the third touch. Jaden Miller goes down to grab that. Free ball sent across by Houston. Set, middle, Caps off the net and down. Caps gets a kill, and it's a 2-point lead again for the Sockies. 7-5, up 1-0. Tipped across by Simmons, but it's dug up. Free ball is going to come across from Hill. Inman was there. Outside on the left to Houston. Off the block. Down. Pushed across by Caps. Now it's going to be blocked. Big time block for Datelyn McAllister, the freshman. Gives her team the largest lead of set number 2 at 8-5. Push out on the set. Houston, and it was blocked by Caps, but Martin couldn't quite get there. Peyton Martin for the Sockies. Now back to serve. Going to be number 5, Aubrey Houston for Southeastern. Her team down 8-6. Once again, hop in that live chat. Tell us where you're watching from and who you're cheering for. And they're going to call the third hit 2-hit. Keith Yex is in the house tonight. Good to see him. There's a bump across. Tipped across. Nice tip by Hill, and it's going to fall eventually, and it's 10-6. Oh, they're going to say a front row attack. Hill is the setter, so they're going to call a front row attack. One hand hit by McAllister on the serve receive. Free ball comes across. Hart back set. Inman against the net. Down. Pushed across by. Into serve. Looks like it's going to be, I believe it's, can't see the number. I think it's number 8. No, it's number 9, Maddie Burton. She serves it into the net, side out. Back to serve is Morgan Simmons, the 5'3" setter for the Suns. She's going to take it. They'll be out of system. Bump set. Back row attack. Inman. It's blocked. It's going to fall, dug up, and fall down. Sophia Campbell got a hand on it, but the problem was Inman and Simmons had dove for it, not thinking Campbell was going to get a hand on it, and it ends up being a point for the, and there's a service error. Had to get up and get the ball for a second, folks. I apologize. There's a let serve, a nice dig back there. There's Hill on the attack. And she'll get the side out. 12-9 is the score. It's kind of stayed this way. Hasn't been a whole lot of runs in this game, 1 or 2 serves at a time. I believe this might be Allie Pritchett or Paige Williams. I'm not sure which. She serves it into the net. Those are the 2 players I haven't said yet. So, and Allie Pritchett's number 14. Now back to serves Riley Hart for the Suns. Caps tips it across. Probably she didn't get a double hit call there as she set it across. Middle. Caps on the attack. Dug up by Inman. Simmons going to send a free ball across. Simmons set out to Shelton. This goes off the arms of Maddie Burton. And a side out back to the Suns. Back to, or actually that's a point for Riley Hart, excuse me. It's a 12-11. Outside, Hill on the attack. Campbell was there. Shelton hits it deep, a hitting error. And a side out. Going back to serve and to set will be Bailey Hill. Oh, a dig out of the net. And it's going to be, yeah, Shelton. And I think it was Houston, maybe, both hit it. And it's going to be 14-11. Hill serving it up again. Outside, Houston, dug by Hill. They're out of system. Bump sets, and nobody went to get it. Little communication problem there for the Sockies. Their lead shrinks back to 2 at 14-12. Bend to serve for the Suns, Jaden Miller, defensive specialist for Southeastern. And a service error. Serving number 2, Maya Helms. There's an attack by Houston. And a hitting error by Caps, and a side out again for the Suns. Aubrey Houston's going to go back to serve. Into, there's number 14, Allie Pritchett into the game. So Paige William, I'll get it right in a minute. And there's a big time attack and a kill for Datelyn McAllister. I believe it was 23. It is. Back to serve now is number 8, Natalie Caps. Little jump serve, but it's a little long. And I got to go get the ball again.
I got it.
Sorry about that, folks. And a hitting error. Gets it back to the Sockies. 17-14 the score. And it falls again. 18-14. 18. And a timeout. Charged to the Suns. We'll take a break as well. We'll be back. You're watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH and Adams Fiber coverage of Southeastern Sports.
You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. You know, work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you. And we have the best teamwork. They're like a second family. Sometimes you can't get that feeling other places.
And welcome back here to Southeastern High School. And as you're watching Adams Fiber coverage of Southeastern Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, it's Pittsfield and Southeastern doing battle here in opening night action for the Southeastern Suns. Of course, they'll have the big Southeastern Suns, Lady Suns Classic next week. We'll be here for most all of that. You'll have to listen to me a lot next week. I apologize in advance. We'll have Caden Strins, I believe, next week some as well. He's going to be calling some Western Illinois University volleyball on, and an ace on ESPN Plus for Western's broadcasting department, the athletic broadcasting department. So he's going to come over and get some practice in before they start their first game at Western on the 19th at home. They start at Bradley this weekend, and there's a kill by Riley Hart to get the side out and stop the bleeding for the Suns. Coming back to serve is going to be the setter, Morgan Simmons. Checking in for the Suns is Sophia Campbell. The one player on the bench is now Jaden Miller. And Simmons is going to get a point as the passing error cuts the lead to 3, 19-16. And a problem on serve receive results in an ace, and it's down to a 2-point game. Timeout charged to the Sockies. We'll take one as well. You're watching Adam Fiber coverage of Southeastern Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. You know, work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you. And we have the best teamwork. They're like a second family. Sometimes you can't get that feeling other places.
And welcome back here as we are in Southeastern for Suns and Sockies. Just moments ago, it was a 5-point game. But a side out and 2 straight points by Morgan Simmons cuts the lead to 2 here for the Sockies as they won set 1, 25-22. It was close throughout that one as well. Looks like it's going to be close throughout this one also. Here comes the serve by Simmons. She goes right side this time, and Hill was not ready. That ball went off and to the right instantly, and it's a 1-point game. Great serve by Morgan Simmons. 3 in a row now for her. Not a good pass, but it went right at Hill. Hill's a hitter now, and there's a tip across, punched across. Campbell. Simmons tips it across. It's going to call a lift. And a side out, is just like the Suns did earlier. The bleeding stopped by the Sakis. Back to serve is going to be Datelyn McAllister. She had a big hit moments ago to kind of get the last run started. Now she's going to try and do it from the service line. There's an attack by Hart. Put an overpass, goes right back to her, and she drives it home. A side out, back to a 1-point game, and back to serve is going to be Addison Inman, the sophomore outside hitter for Southeastern. And a hitting error ties it at 20. The Suns have come all the way back here in this one. See if they can continue the rally here. And that's deep and in. It dropped right in behind McAllister. And the Suns take the lead, 21-20. Southeastern Lady Suns trying to send this to a set 3. And overpass and down for Riley Hart. It's 22-20. It was 20-15, or 19-14, excuse me. And another timeout charged to the Sakis. As I said, it was 19-14 just a few moments ago, it seemed like. And the Suns have rolled off an 8-1 run to take a 22-20 lead. The only point, obviously, is one side out for the Sakis during that run, but the Suns got to serve right back and now lead by 2, trying to stretch this to a 3-set match here in the JV contest. Again, this is the first game from the Southeastern High School this season. Adams Fiber bringing you Southeastern Suns sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I'm Dwayne Hulett. I have Tegan Perry on the camera tonight. We'll have a few different people on the camera. As I said, we'll have a few different people broadcasting games as well throughout the season. So we want to welcome you all back. Hop in that live chat. Tell us where you're watching from and who you're cheering for. We do love to see that. And here we go. Inman back to serve again. And a net serve. Cuts it to a 1-point lead for the Suns on the service there. The timeout works. I believe Paige Willman coming in to serve. And I just say that because it's the only player I haven't called now. Simmons out to Houston. Off the block, dug up in the back row. Back set, goes to Hill. She pushes it across. Shelton's there. Now it's going to go outside again. Shelton's going to push it across. Middle, Caps, tips it. Brought up. Hart, back set on the bump set. And in the net is the Sakis. Houston will get the kill. And it's 23-21. Back to serve is Riley Hart. Her and Morgan Simmons have been the most effective from the service line. See if she can get a couple points here and send this to a set 3. Willman there. Now it's going to come. Caps dug up by Simmons. They're out of system. Houston sends it across. Out to Hill. She sends it there. Now they're out of system again. Houston, deep right corner. Good job to get back there was McAllister. Tipped across by Helms. Now it's going to go to Houston, who punches it across, and they call the double hit. Not a big surprise on that double hit call. Hill back to serve. Drops it short. Inman comes, gets it. Houston dug by McAllister with the overhand dig. Caps, no, that's not Caps. It is Caps, sends it across. Outside Houston again and into the net. We're tied at 23. 23-23, timeout Southeastern. They had been on an 8-2 run. Now a 3-1 run for the Sockies is tied it at 23-23. Again, a 25-22 win, if my memory serves me correctly, in set number 1 for Pittsfield. So we go 3 if the Southeastern Lady Suns can figure out a way to get a win here. And we end in 2 if Pittsfield can get a win. Thank Adams Fiber for bringing you Southeastern Suns sports here on TSSR Game Time Live. We apologize for being a little slow to get on tonight. We've used the same internet we always use, hardwired into the system, and they must have a firewall up. I couldn't get the scoreboard to work. Never dawned on me that that would be the problem, but apparently it was. We switched internet connections and now seem to be good to go. Couldn't get YouTube to work either. That's why we were late. And a hitting error by Houston, and it's a set and match point for the Sockies. And Hill goes back to serve it again. Bailey Hill, the sophomore, trying to get a match win for her squad, and she's going to do it. That'll be it, 25-23. The Sockies beat the Suns here in JV action. 25-22, 25-23 JV action. We'll be back with varsity action in just a little bit. You've been watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.